Hello all, my name is Matthew Hicks. Glad to meet you. I am 33 years old, recently married 8 months ago. I am in my ninth year of teaching. I spent 7 years teaching math at Nelson County High School, where I taught Algebra 1, Algebra 2, Geometry, Senior Math, some finance type of things, and pretty much anything that you could have thrown at kids math-wise, we did. 2 years ago, I changed locations. I'm now currently at Marion County High School, where I'm in my second year as the in-school detention instructor there. We have everybody from 6th all the way through 12th grade, depending on what their needs may be. It's a new challenge. It is a challenge that is different from being an everyday classroom instructor. I don't have to grade papers or do lesson plans or things of that such, but I do have other responsibilities now, and it has allowed me to work a little more closely with our administration, which has kind of gotten this ball rolling, which we're doing right now. Starting off, rank 1 for principalship. The journey begins now. This video is pretty simple. There's a couple questions that we're asked to answer to reflect about how we would see ourselves as an administrator, and I'll briefly go through those. I also spent just a little bit of time picking my current assistant principal's brains, just so I could see kind of how their thought process lined up with mine. Without any further ado, question number 1. What talents, skills, and abilities do you possess that you believe are important to be an effective administrator? I want to highlight 3 things. The first one, being an effective communicator. The second one, patience. And the third one, consistency. These are 3 things I think are vital as an administrator. If I can't effectively communicate with my students and my staff, how can I lead them in the right direction that I want the school to go? I must also be an active listener in that process. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm going to listen to you and give you everything that you want, but I'm going to listen to your concerns, wants, and needs, and think about, can we do those or can we not do those? Are they beneficial for students? I think it's also a big deal for an administrator to be able to make those tough decisions and look at a staff member and say, no, we can't do that, but here are the reasons why, and the reasons often should have to do with supporting our students and making our students better inside the classrooms. Patience is a key. We know there's always going to be times that we have hard days or trying days, and we've got to take a deep breath and assess the situation and not fall off the handle. That can be students, that could be with staff, that could be with fellow administrators. We've got to be able to be patient and assess a situation and do what is in the best interest of everybody involved and not just a heat of the moment decision. The last thing, consistency. I understand that there are different situations and all kids are different, but we have to be consistent in how we deal with people in our buildings so that they know where we stand, and inconsistency can lose the trust of your staff and your students very quickly. Question 2. How do you see yourself as a dispositional fit for school leadership, and give my rationale? I've always been raised to be an ethical, honest person full of integrity, just how I was brought up. I believe these traits are hugely important in a leadership role. People have to know that you are going to be there and you're going to do the right thing. I also feel like I'm very good at developing relationships with adults and with students, and I'm pretty good at delegating authority. So I think those are keys for an administrator. You have to be able to have a relationship with the people in your building, and you also have to be able to pass down some of the things that you can't necessarily get to on a day-to-day basis. Question 3. My vision for a 21st century school. I had a talk with one of my assistant principals, and I agree with a comment she made. The traditional class setting is kind of becoming a dinosaur. And I mean that it's going away quickly because of all the new technology that we have, all of the new instructional strategies that are out there. And we've got to be able to embrace those or our classrooms are going to become extinct or not as effective as they need to be for our students. Right? We need to provide flexibility for our students and the options and the possibilities that they have in scheduling. We need to provide for self-paced learning, project-based learning where kids can think outside the box and not just do stuff on a worksheet. And we need to make sure that we're able to incorporate all these new technologies into our classroom where they are supporting the learning, not hindering the learning. Our school currently is a one-to-one school. Every kid has a Chromebook. That's a tough deal. Kids can do a lot of things on the computer when they're not supervised. But we need to make sure that we're filling the time with meaningful learning and that they're actually using the tool to better their understanding of the subject rather than it just being an expensive 52 deck of cards, as I would say. Question 4. Discuss the role of educational administrator as school manager and instructional leader. You know, when I was back in school, maybe as a young kid in elementary school, the principal was the disciplinarian, the manager. They didn't worry about what was going on so much in teachers' classrooms, but they wanted to make sure that everything else was running smoothly. Well, those days are gone. You know, we have to be multidimensional and do many things. We have to wear many hats. So not only do we have to manage our building, but we also have to set the standard for instruction in our building. What do we want our kids to know? How are we going to teach them? And we've got to find a balance between those because as my assistant principals told me, they find a lot of their day is spent on managing, not so much as the instructional side. So where's that balance? We have to make sure that we can focus on instruction so that we can better teach our kids. We can't have every teacher going in a different direction, kind of like a bunch of dogs pulling a sled in opposite directions. It's not getting anywhere. So we have to manage our building, but we also have to manage our teachers and the instruction and provide that common path that we want everybody to take. Fifth and final question. Within this program, what do you critically need to help you become a successful administrator? This one's simple. This is what I've always said as a teacher, whether it's PD opportunities or just making myself better in the classroom. Let me see someone that does it well. I'm a visual learner. If I can go and watch an effective administrator in their environment and observe what they do on a day-to-day basis, that will help me learn more than reading a book or seeing this or seeing that. Let me watch it happen. People that are effective for a reason. Let me see it in action. All right. Those are my thoughts on administration. Now, I am sure they are bound to change over this course of 10 classes for administration, and I'm looking forward to bettering myself as a person and a potential administrator in the future. Thank you all. Have a great day.